long, so many times this season about how prolific this Riders side is from downtown. Patrick Whelan, Kimmel McKenzie, we saw dropping a crucial 3. They were hot from downtown in the first leg. And Zach Jackson has been pivotal as well in that, hasn't he?
Yeah, I love the fact that he's improved his 3-ball over the summer, and he's been arguably their best player all season long. So look for that matchup of Zach Jackson, VJ King going back at it.
Well, they have the second highest scoring offense in the BBL this season, and they have the most efficient overall scoring percentage. That core of Patrick Whelan, Mark Loving, alongside Zach Jackson and their skipper Darian Nelson-Henry, they will start once again, as they have for much of the season. Rob Paternostro, the Riders head coach, he's been down this road so many times, hasn't he, as he looks to take his team to another major final. And it helps when he has clutch players like this. When they need that extra little bit, the game might just be swinging away from them, Kieran. He steps up.
Steps up in so many ways. You know, makes the big basket, the big drive, the big and one, and he can ice the game at the free throw line too, shooting over 90%. So, you know, he's ice cold, really stepped up from the Gino Crandall days.
All right, let's take a closer look at the Bristol roster. They have been consistently strong all season long, of course, keeping up the pace with both Leicester and London in that top 3. And alongside VJ King and Malcolm Delpech, solid seasons from Tevin Olsen and Jelani Watson-Gale, who incidentally earned his first call-up to the Team GB squad this season. In the backcourt, Mike Miller in his second spell with the club. And let's key in on Mike Miller, because this is a young team and a team that is not used to success in the same way that the Riders are. So a calm, seasoned pro like Mike Miller could be critical tonight.
It was very obvious that he's an experienced player on a very inexperienced roster. He came out very aggressive, and I see him doing that again tonight.
All right, then. We've seen some of the players. What about the coaches? Let's hear from Andreas Kopoulis and Rob Paternostro. They caught up with Drew ahead of tonight's game.
Coach, a game of runs, if I could describe it, but how would you sum up that first leg?
Yeah, got off to a really good start, obviously. That was important for us. And, yeah, they made a couple runs at us. I thought we held off pretty good to come out of there with the lead that we came out of. But, you know, they're a group that is really relentless on the glass and physically, and you know, they're tough as well. One shot, obviously, and get back on defense.
And aggregates are so tricky. As you mentioned, you're up 26, but ultimately you win the game. What was the overall mood after the game?
Oh, positive, yeah, for us. I mean, we came out of there with the win. I don't think any of us thought that we were going to be able to go down there and have a 26-point lead. That was a team that's really tough at home, so we were really happy with the win. I think when we watched the video back, we got to play way better, though. I think that that's one thing yesterday that we talked about, is really raising our game on both ends of the floor.
And 7-point advantage, but the job isn't done. What are the adjustments for today?
Well, we got to rebound better. I mean, we've talked about that already. I think defensively we got to be a little bit more solid. I thought we made some errors at times that allowed them to get good looks, so we got to be locked in. And I think the important thing for today is when you get to the second leg at this stage of the season is physically you got to be ready to go. You know, I think it's a difficult thing to deal with, to play 2 games in such a short period of time. So physically, you got to be ready.
And last week you said it was too early, but you're 40 minutes away from another trip to the O2.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think that, you know, you talk to any coach or any player around the league, they want to be there at the end. So we want to be there too. And we know we have a good opportunity, you know, playing at home. Our home crowd has been great this year for us. So it should be a fun game. It's going to be a tough game. We know that, but it should be fun.
Coach, shaky start in that first leg, but you guys were able to recover. Break it down for us.
Well, we're down but not out. All to play for. We started off the game. We were just like behind with pace and rushing on offense, and we picked it up on the defensive end and we're able to cut the deficit. And it's just the first half, down 7. That's nothing. All to play for.
Like you mentioned, down 7 in striking distance, but 0-2 here on the season. What do you need to do to overcome that deficit tonight?
Well, we've got to play better than the first leg, and we've got to play better than the last times we were here. I think we've got to be concentrated on the defensive end. We've got to limit the transition game. That's got to be very important, protect the lane. And offensively, we just got to recognize when to move the ball, when to be aggressive. We've got to get good looks.
And third place finish in the league. This is your second year as a semifinalist in the playoffs. Flyers trajectory in the right direction?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, for us it's a progress and a process in terms of on and off the court, how we do things. So certainly last year was 4th, this year 3rd, second year in the playoffs, semifinals in a row. We just want to keep on moving forward.
And speaking of moving forward, the Flyers entering Europe next season, what does that mean for the club?
Well, it's really exciting. It just gives us an opportunity to find out what it takes to compete in Europe. It's one thing like watching like teams like London, Leicester that have done it before. It's another thing competing and actually taking part and finding out what you have to do to be competitive at that level.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Let's start with the news this week that the Flyers are going to be playing in Europe next season. Another great example of how the league is trending in the right direction here.
It's what you love to hear. You know, when I found out that they were looking to enter the NEBL, I was so pumped. It just shows ambition. You know, we are here, we want to be there. So great credit to Bristol Flyers to have that ambition, have that intent, and start moving the chains forward.
It's great to see, and whatever happens tonight, it's been a brilliant season for the Bristol Flyers. As I mentioned earlier, they've been up there all season long, and there are a number of key reasons for that, of course. We talked about their prowess up and around in terms of boards, but Leicester, as we mentioned, Drew, this is the number 2 offense in the BBL right now. So, given there's 7 points in this, what do the Flyers defensively need to hold Leicester to tonight, kind of ballpark, to keep in this?
Definitely under their season average, which is 80 points. They need to keep them around 75, but most importantly, make them work for everything. Defend without fouling and keep them out of transition.
Right then, 4 quarters of basketball for a place in the grand finale. Will it be the season-old pros of Leicester or the raw young gun Flyers making it through? Tip-off is coming next.
I'm running, I set this pace and just done it. So feet with feet, you can't compete, watch out for incoming. I'm running, I'm stealthy, I'm cunning. Like sniper shot, fluid in the dark, you won't see me coming.
A place at the O2 up for grabs for the Riders or the Flyers. Semi-final second leg about to tip off. So who better to guide us through the high-pressure environment of a crunch time encounter like this than the coolest hands in the business. A very good evening to Ant Rowe and Dan Ravage.
Evening now, evening everybody. Yes, and this is what basketball is all about in this country. 40 minutes to get yourself in the playoff final next weekend.
Coach Kabula said they're down, but they're not out. Those 7 points, keep them in striking distance, can be decimated in a few plays.
Well, let's take a look at the starting fives for the two teams, starting with the Leicester Riders and Zach Jackson, Darian Nelson-Henry last week. Sensational in the quarterfinals. They'll be hoping for more of the same today.
A few weeks ago, Nelson-Henry announces his retirement. Since then, he's playing like a newborn player. 13 points, 8 rebounds a game. There's been Mr. Consistent Zach Jackson leading the way for this Riders squad.
At the other end of the floor, VJ King been coming off the bench in the playoffs after that injury that kept him out of the last few regular season games. He's in the starters tonight.
And it shows his mental resolve is just as gifted as his athletic talents, because 23 points for him last game. He looks like he's in full health. And Thomas Bell, for me, has been that Mr. Consistent. He shoots the ball well. He rebounds, high energy player. Look for him to lead from the front also.
Here we go then. 40 minutes to find yourself a place at the O2 in the playoff final next weekend. It's the Flyers, who trail by 7 on aggregate, who will get the first possession of the ball game. Mike Miller driving in, drops it off to Delpesh. Strong, late whistle, but it's going to go against Nelson-Henry, and Delpesh will shoot too.
It was a late one, Dan. Could have went either way, but good intent, aggressive nature there from the Bristol Flyers, looking to go inside early. We know it was a dreadful start from them in game 1, and already showing an aggressive nature heading towards the rim to put some, well, hopefully some early points for them on the board early.
Delpesh not the best free throw shooter on his team, that's fair to say, but he does make the first. He shoots around 50%, so I'm sure Leicester will be boxing out here. And he does miss the second.
He gets 1 point for those efforts, but you've also put a foul on Nelson-Henry, who's been playing stellar basketball in the playoffs, so he's going to have to be a little bit more tentative now on the defensive end.
Here's Whelan. Under great pressure from Ollison. Love, who hit an early 3 in the first leg. Driving in, getting to the basket. Nelson-Henry trying to get the rebound, but Bristol come away with it. Ollison sets up for 3, leaves it short. Nelson-Henry with the rebound. Love out in front. Love driving to the rim, lays it in.
A good job from Love this time. He wasn't successful in his first attempt, but this time made sure he maneuvered his body to protect himself. But King was trailing there, looking to block that shot, but it didn't matter.
Ollison into the key. Does he get the bounce? Yes, he does.
It's a good take from Ollison. He took a bit of an early shot with a 3-ball to play before, but this time finds himself in the crest of the key there and gets that floater to go.
Reminder, the aggregate score in brackets, you can see Bristol down 6 as it stands. Here's Love trying to get to the rim. Nice step through for 2.
There was a step through and some, but no, a great move there from Love, who again is looking aggressive. 4 early points for him. He did that in game 1, but he looked to shoot a 3-ball. This time, he's looking to penetrate.
Mike Miller looking to penetrate, lobs it up to Delpesh for 2.
This is good start from the Bristol Flyers, especially offensively. They're getting high percentage shots in and around the rim.
Pass round to Jackson. Jackson, 5 on the shot clock. Nelson-Henry now has it knocked loose by Miller. Thrown forward to Mike Miller, and he misses the layup. Knocked away by Ollison. It'll be a Leicester ball.
Those are the plays you have to convert. You know, if you're a betting man, you'd place your chips on Mike Miller to finish that left-hand layup, and he has to finish that because off those turnovers, Leicester Riders will look after the ball relatively well. They won't commit these turnovers, so when they do, you need to capitalise on it. That's an opportunity gone missing there for the Flyers.
Well, I cannot remember the last time Rob Paternoster made a substitution this early in the game, but Aaron Menzies is in for the first time. Obviously, Nelson-Henry with 1 foul. Menzies was absolutely sensational off the bench in the first leg as well. Earned his early call-up.
Kieran said he was a disruptor, and I couldn't think of a better word to describe that. He completely turned the game on its head early.
Love with the 3, leaves it short. Love will steal it back though. Gets it on to Loving. Loving is fouled by Bell and will shoot 2.
That's just excellent work from Carrington Love there. Starts on the defensive end. Great anticipation there to steal the basketball. Knock away there, and they're out to the races. Good spacing. And he doesn't dribble the ball. He elects to throw the pass early, and the pass was on the money, which gives Mark Lovin that lane to challenge VJ King at the rim.
Well, the challenge that Bristol face here is since 2016, Leicester have played 32 playoff games. They have won 28 of them, lost 3, drawn 1. They have won 25 of their last 26 playoff games. When it gets to this time of year, they know how to win. Drew Lasker has joined us in commentary. And Drew, you were part of the one team in the last 26 that did win the game here. It was a neutral court, technically, but it was a rare Leicester defeat in the playoffs.
Yeah, very rare, as you just mentioned there. And if you're going to get it done against this Leicester Riders, you got to come out and play almost a perfect ball game. And I like the approach that the Bristol Flyers have come with, their mentality, but like I said at the top, defensively, keep them off the free throw line and keep them out of transition.
Here's Whelan at the elbow, a little short. Menzies on the offensive glass, giving Bristol a taste of their own medicine. Here's Love for 3. And that's one thing Leicester do better than Bristol, is turn the offensive rebounds into points.
And Menzies already impacted this game. The offensive rebound has given him a +3 there, because Carrington Love stepping into that shot looks comfortable and confident.
I think there's a contact lens issue for Thomas Bell that's just being sorted out.
And speaking of Carrington Love, in game 1, it was almost like he was anticipating the Bristol Flyers going under those screens, because he was very aggressive from the three-point line. Only shoots 20%, so not a great shooter. But he's showing in this playoffs that, you know, you got to be aggressive.
Here's Miller. Down low to Delpech, trying to get along the baseline. No room past Menzies. He's blocked and thrown away by Aaron Menzies. Be a Flyers ball.
Wow, the impact that Menzies brings. And we asked the question, this is an early substitute from Rob Panostra, because he has a 7'3" weapon that's causing a havoc on both ends of the floor. Stands up straight there, doesn't foul.
Delpech with the mid-range, that's off the mark, and Leicester will come down. It just shows that stars make fights, because in the quarterfinal we saw a lot more of Adekoya playing the backup 5. Obviously Menzies was injured, but it's been very much the tale of Menzies in these 2 legs so far. Here's Lovin, stepping his way to the basket. Did he walk with it? Yes, he did.
Just a little bit too patient there, wasn't he? He's very composed, and he'll shoot the ball in his own time, but on that occasion, one too many pump fakes and a shuffle of the feet.
Miller gets to the elbow and knocks down the jumper.
And that's a guy that came out very aggressive in game 1. He gets to his spot there, the mid-range pulley, finishes for 2.
Of course, had the historic shot last year in the playoffs for the Flyers that saw them to victory over Manchester in the quarterfinals. Here's Love looking to attack. Block! Oh my! Thrown into the seat by Delpech.
That's a remarkable recovery there from Delpech. The foot speed obviously goes to Carrington Love there as he blows by him, but Delpech chases it down, and perfect timing with the block. If you look at the inside there, it's Menzies the one that paves the way for that lane to be open, but Delpech says no.
And I love that comeback by Delpech. He's in a similar position in game 1, and the Riders were able to draw foul. That time, Delpech was able to get space.
But Whelan gets points anyway for the Riders.
And this is a Patrick Whelan that's recovering now to full help, and boy, has it come at a good time. He has been there right over the last couple of years. He's been able to make those big shots. They could use with him in the playoffs.
King off the mark, tip down to Menzies. McKenzie round the screen, kicks back to Whelan, fakes the 3, takes it inside, gets all the way to the basket. Menzies again on the offensive glass, but can't finish.
Bristol Flyers dodge a major bullet there, 7-3 bullet to be exact, as Menzies missed the easy one.
Smith off the mark for 3, but Menzies Grabs the rebound. Again, his 4th already.
This is the problem. Menzies gobbling up all those defensive rebounds. There's no second chance opportunities here for the Flyers.
Jackson off the mark. Flyers yet to get an offensive rebound. It took them 13 minutes in the first leg to get one. They ended up with 20 though. Ollison driving in. There might be one. No, it comes down into the hands of Lovin.
That goes into the DNA of this Flyers team and the way they played that first quarter when they weren't pressing the board. They were 26-11 and they really struggled to get anything going offensively. If you're not shooting the ball well, you've got to be getting yourself additional options.
Brandon Mahan will check in. Ollison jogging past his coach to the bench. Well, after a fast-scoring start, it slowed a little bit here at the Morningside Arena. Here's King, 6 on the shot clock. Trying to create some room for a jumper. He fires up the 3 and it's short. And it goes in anyway.
Wow. BJ King, smooth as ever. Just getting to his spot. Soft little finish there.
You saw him set it up with a dribble as well. And because he's so long at 6'6", 6'7", he gets that shot off.
That was knocked away by Bell, but use of the foot from Smith. We'll see Leicester get the ball back. Walsh in the first. Good hands in the first place from Bell, and then he's just sort of kicked it forward to King, not deliberately, but he gets the advantage. And speaking of advantage, that is a favourable bounce. Whelan out to Loving, and he's fouled by Bell. That's going to be 2 on him. The only 2 fouls of the game on Bristol, both on the number 13.
Well, he had to run out there. I didn't think the Flyers did a good enough job of guarding the Riders in game 1 from the 3-point line. They shot 38%. And, you know, it's the lead leaders as well in field goal percentage from the 3-point line and most attempts as well. So Flyers are conscious of that. And that over-aggressive close up there has given Thomas Bell III his second foul.
Mackenzie trapped in the corner, trying to throw it off Smith and doing so.
And you see Evan Walsh enters the game here. How good has he been over the last couple of weeks as Mackenzie throws it off of Smith's leg? And in game 1, I walked away saying how much Coach Rob trusts Evan Walsh.
He's earned that. He's earned every minute he's got over the last month or so. That's a tough long 2 from Mark Loving.
It really is, but that's the type of player he has. He has that versatility and creativity where he can get those shots off with the dribble.
Miller, top of the key, rattles one in.
And again, Miller getting to that same exact spot. And if the Riders are going to let him have that all day, Miller will continue to rack him up.
Whelan under pressure, too long on the shot. Mahan just got caught in 2 minds there. Back out to Miller. Again, he gets the same spot. Different result this time. And oh, it's stolen. Not quite. Whelan comes away with it. Another long 2 from Loving. Another one hitting the bottom of the net.
He's high on confidence. He used that screen from Menzies and has that inch of space there and knocks down another convincing jump shot.
Foul called on Walsh there.
Yeah, just a little bit overly aggressive there in the post. Right, Evan Walsh, as you see, he gets that left arm there on the Mahan. And refs call a foul.
Adekoya into the game for the first time. I think in response, Delpesh is coming. Certainly wasn't going until he saw Adekoya on court. Smith will sit down. And laps it up to Delpesh, who did well to come down with that.
He did really well. He changed his mind mid-air and still had the composure and not happy feet as well to travel to put it back in. Good play.
Loving turns the corner, gets all the way to the rim and lays it in. Mark Loving up to 8.
Well, he's beginning to cook now. All it takes for a scorer like Mark Loving is to see that first basket go in. Then it begins to look like the ocean seas.
King off the mark, but rebound for Delpesh.
Looked like a really easy rebound as well, which is the concern inside for the Riders.
Well, sloppy one from McKenzie, and that's going to be a foul on Loving. He's in front of him, so it's not going to be an unsportsmanlike in transition.
Great foul, really, isn't it? You know, it's not a unsportsmanlike or anything of that nation. Just Kimball McKenzie just uncharacteristically loses the ball there.
Loving will sit down now after that first foul.
Well, that was a fantastic foul because the playoffs are all about generating easy points. I talked about how the Riders were able to get 20 in transitions, and on the other side, the Flyers with only 5, so they got to find a way to get themselves going out in transition.
Here's Miller, harassed by Whelan, trying to shake him loose. Gets it away, and Mike Miller has 6.
We've seen Mike Miller last year in particular. He had some massive games, some real pivotal points in the season, including the playoffs, and here he is now leading from the front, leading by example. Early points for him.
Whelan offers the screen. Gets it to Adekoya, has the size mismatch. And uses it to, oh, not great effect. He misses, but McKenzie might get the loose ball. It came off the, oh, I thought that came off McKenzie, but it's going to be a Leicester ball.
I agree, but great battle from both clubs there. Ferocious competitive nature here in this knockout competition. You're right, Dan. That could have went either way, that one.
Well, we're still tied at 18. There's probably one offense each left here with the 14-second shot clock. Jackson under all sorts of pressure, gets it away. Walsh in the corner, knocks down the 3.
And it's a huge one. Zach Jackson does everything he can not to turn the ball over. He finds Walsh in the corner, who was excellent.
Stolen away by Adekoya. He's going to have to heave. Gets the 3 off in time, but doesn't make it. Well, a very tight first quarter, but that will suit the Riders. Their lead is double figures on aggregate at the end of the opening quarter. They've won that one 21 points to 18, but a long way to go in this tie. We got the second quarter coming right up after this break. Welcome back to Leicester, where the Riders lead by 3 in the game, by 10 on aggregate here. And we'll start with the possession at the beginning of the second quarter. Here's Nelson Henry. Stumbling over and throwing it into the seats.
Yeah, just lost his foot in there, and it's unfortunate. I mean, Riders are, it's how Coach Panos has instructed the team there to put the ball inside. Of course, Nelson Henry having to leave the game, picking up that first foul.
Miller trying to get, oh, Zach Jackson with the block.
Wow, and that's defensive help right there. Came across quickly and swatted that ball out the air before it had any chance of getting to the rim.
Wow. Action Jackson, as I like to call him, coming from nowhere, picking up where he left off in game 1, doing the dirty work. Nice block.
Jackson at the offensive end. Looking to back down, spinning into trouble. Somehow gets a shot away. It almost went in.
Fantastic defense there by the Flyers. Again in the post, standing their ground, forcing Jackson into a tough acrobatic shot.
Flyers ball from the side. Just a pause there as they thought Leicester were making a substitution, but Love was just coming closer to the subs bench. He wasn't actually coming in. I assume that it means he'll not long before he does. Here's Mahan for 3 off the mark. Nelson Henry with the rebound.
He's a guy that want to get going. Is some 3-point shots.
Whoa, still what he does best. Just absolutely direct to the rim.
I cannot speak any more highly of Evan Walsh. Just his mentality of whenever coach is going to give me an opportunity, I am going to run with it. And he goes straight down the middle there. Tough finish. 5 points personal now for Evan Walsh.
Right, it's a 5-point Leicester lead here a minute into the second quarter. Earlier, Drew Lafter caught up with Patrick Whelan.
Pat, 6 guys in double figures after that first leg, a real strength in numbers effect.
Yeah, I think that's been us all season. I think that's a key to our game. It will continue to be a key to our game, and hopefully, you know, we do well putting the ball in the basket tonight against you.
Did you guys feel like you left something at the table after surrendering that huge lead?
Not really. You know, Bristol are a good team. We knew that, like, we probably weren't going to go in there and blow them out at home, but you know, it's always going to be a tough task, even if you get a big lead against them. So yeah.
And like you mentioned, they won't go out lightly. What approach are you anticipating from the Flyers?
Definitely for them to be aggressive as they've been all season. Aggressive on the rebounding. You know, pushing the pace. I think when you don't have a lead, you really need to push the pace. Try and catch up. You probably see a lot of pressing too. So yeah, for us, I think it's just about, you know, limiting turnovers and rebounding, really.
And finally, you're off to play some summer ball in Canada. How sweet would it be to finish the British season at the O2?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, but the key is to finish the British season at the O2. I'm not really thinking about too much in the future right now, and just thinking about this game and getting through that.
Thanks, Pat.
Appreciate it.
Well, we're back underway here as Watson Gale brings it forward for the Flyers. Man steps in for a 15-footer.
Yeah, and the Flyers are doing a great job of taking what the defense gives them. Mayhem normally shoots that shot, but he's able to get to the teeth of the defense there and pull up short. Great shot.
McKenzie too strong, trying to tip in his own rebound. Couldn't get it to go. He wants a foul. He's still arguing his case. The Flyers are coming the other way. Smith down to Delpesh. You don't see those two on court together very often.
No, you don't, and you want Leslie Smith to be a little bit more aggressive and look for his shot. Doesn't necessarily have to shoot the basketball every time he touches it, but he needs to be a threat out there to keep that spacing on the floor.
Agreed.
Here's Adekoya, who fakes the 3, drops it back to Walsh. 5 on the shot clock. Walsh gets his man in the air, but misses the 3.
Again, another great defensive stance there by the Bristol Flyers. Being very disciplined, not going for the first move, forcing Walsh into a tough shot.
Watson Gale. Mayo. Knocked away by Adekoya, who was trying to throw it down court. Well, Nelson Henry asking for an unsportsmanlike. It won't be one as he's diving for the ball. I think that's a right call. That's a good play on the ball. It's a foul. It's a good play on the ball.
Playoff basketball, as we like to see, man, dribbles it off his foot and making an effort play there. I like the fact that it wasn't called unsportsmanlike and we play on.
Well, that is the second personal foul on Mahan. They've only got 4 fouls in the game, Bristol, but they've got 2 guys on 2. And Boyer glancing at the shot clock as he looks to back down. He gets a long way in. The shot is a bit flat.
Surprised they didn't send the double team there quicker, the Flyers, but they didn't need to on that occasion. The resistance was enough.
Watson Gale for 3. Back iron. Long rebound. It's grabbed by Jackson. Jackson goes past him. Oh, he misses the jab.
Wow, and that's what he has the ability to do. Route one straight to the rim, and Flyers have escaped one there.
Ollison for 3. Strings it.
Wow, 5-point turnaround there. A much needed 3-ball from beyond the arc, and hopefully this gets things going for the Bristol Flyers offense.
Well, that's Ollison reaching in on the screen, committing the foul. Whelan and Loving return as McKenzie sits down, and Adekoya as well. Ooh, that's gave Delpesh a chance, but unfortunately for him, because Nelson Henry caught it, Delpesh ended up committing a foul.
It's the 14 fouls now as well, so fouls there on after now. The quarter will be given Leicester Riders trip to the free throw line, and that's one of the points that they had to reduce this game, was to not send the Riders to the line.
Loving for 3 off the back of the iron. King with the rebound.
This is where I think the Flyers need to push the pace a little bit in transition.
Ollison stepping his way to the basket, but he misses it. Delpesh tips it in.
A beautiful move there from Ollison, and he's one of the few players on the Flyers team that hit a 3-point shot, so that pump fake is so much more effective, and he finds his way to the rim, but he knows if he misses, Delpesh is on the cleanup duty.
Well, the Flyers are in front on the day, and their captain spoke to Drew earlier. Here's Mike Miller.
Mike, you guys finished so strong in that first leg. What type of confidence did that give you for today?
It gives us all the confidence in the world. You know, just knowing that any game looks different, but we still got the same mindset, regardless of like how it turns out.
And as captain, how do you look to lead those guys out here today?
Just understanding, you know, what's at stake. You know, obviously went down in the first leg, but you know, we gave ourselves a fighting chance by bringing it down to a couple possession game, and mentally for them, that has to be tough. You know, having the opportunity to knock us out, and we still found a way to stay in the game.
And Flyers have been in this position before. What's been Coach Andreas' message?
This next play mentality. The game is not over; it's only halftime, and the pressure is on them just as much as it's on us.
And you've had a great start to your career, obviously in the league with the Flyers, 2 playoff semifinals. You enjoying life in the BBL?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's growing at a massive rate, you know, and it's something that is great for British basketball in general.
Thanks, Mike.
No problem.
Well, the Flyers in front on the day. Oh, Love's going to lose it here. He's turned it over. Oh, but it's lost straight back.
Wow, what a recovery from Carrington Love. That should have been a layup for the Flyers.
Nice pass.
But instead it's the transition from the Riders down the other end of the floor, and Nelson Henry says thank you very much, because that'll be one of the easier baskets he'll get all day.
Well, she really blew it there at the rim. trying to get 3 back for his team, and he does.
And he says, this is what I do. This is a little bit easier when I set my feet. Repeats from the right wing there, strokes it.
It's the bottom of the net as well. It's not even anywhere close to the rim. It's straight down, so really good signs early for Ollison.
Nelson Henry going all the way to the basket, but can't convert.
It's a good move from Nelson Henry. They just needed to finish.
It's not a move you see often from him, to be fair. Watson Gale kicks it out to Bell, stumbles, but gets it to Delpech for the jam, and the Flyers are up 5.
That's such a Thomas Bell move, isn't it? He's unorthodox, but he's so effective. Whether it be passing the basketball, a rebound, or a Euro step layup, Thomas Bell finds a way to get it done, and Delpech dunks it home.
Oh, calmly drops it in.
Speaking of calmly, Love, who came out aggressive in game 1, gets to his spot. Nice little pump fake there. Up and over for 2.
9 points for Carrington Love.
Wow, what an impact he's had.
Oh, Watson Gale loses the ball. Here's Loving in transition, has Jackson with him, finds it, and suddenly it's back down to 1.
Well, there aren't too many fearless combos like that running at you in Zach Jackson and Mark Lovin, and that's an easy link up right there for 2.
Defense, the cry from the home fans is King, who's open for 3, but Jackson with the rebound. Jackson has room, and he hits the 3. And Coach Kapoulis calls for time a moment ago. His team were up by 5, a basket down on aggregate, and suddenly they're down by a basket in the game.
Well, these two teams are going blow for blow, and these big players are popping up. Big players like Zach Jackson, who seems to thrive in these environments. That's a big shot.
And the playoffs are about big-time players stepping up in big-time moments, and Zach Jackson does what he's been doing all season long. Coming to the season with a new, improved 3-ball, and all that work in the offseason paying off right there.
Well, just for some context of what Bristol have to do here today, they've only twice beaten Leicester by more than 7 points all time since they've come into the league. One of them was at home, one of them was here, although Gino Crandall was out with a broken hand on that game. And not many teams do come here. Since this building's been built, Leicester have only lost 18 times by more than 7 points. 3 of them were European teams. 5 of them were London. It's only happened once this season and once last season.
Well, those stats are heavily stacked against the Bristol Flyers. And if you even look at more modern-day history, the Bristol Flyers came here twice in regular season, lost twice, lost by 17 and 18 points on those 2 occasions. So, Dan, they're going to have to break records. They're going to have to put some new statistics in your data, because right now the trends are heavily against them.
But this team, that's all they've been doing this year, is breaking Flyers records. They've set basically every record in the Bristol Flyers book this season.
And I was going to say, there's no other team that I would put my money on than the Bristol Flyers, because if there's one thing about this team that we've seen over the course of the last 2 seasons, is they're not scared. They're not afraid of the moment.
Ollison traveled.
It's a great shot, but it won't count. The shuffle there of the pivot foot. That'll be a turnover for Flyers.
Just watch, his back foot is already up while the ball's still in his hand.
And it's clear tonight that Ollison needs to stay beyond that 3-point line. That's where he's more successful. Every time he gets in the paint, he gets tripped up or loses the basketball.
Here's Loving, taking it hard to the rim, and he's challenged at the rim by Bell, and that is going to be his 3rd.
Oh, that's a huge blow for the Flyers, just because Bell can do so much on both ends of the floor, and it's quite difficult because they're above the rim there and he's reaching over. How much of the ball he got, it's hard to say, but it does look like one of those calls that's relatively straightforward for the referee to make.
Well, it's one of those where, because he stumbled in the first place, that made up Loving's mind. I'm going to go attack here. And as as you say, on 2 fouls. It's a risk that you run.
And I love the mentality by Mark Lovin. Only 7 points in game 1 and already has exceeded that with 9 so far in the first half, and has had a terrific year all season long. All of his numbers are up. And he's another guy that comes into the British Basketball League with a big resume. Mr. Ohio State, having a great year.
4-4 from the line today. He's the first player into double figures for Leicester. Watson Gale trying to find room. Does it squeeze in? No, it doesn't. And King knocks that away for a Leicester possession.
And he's a player, Dan, they need so much more from. This guy's had an incredible rookie year, even to the point where he's got calls from GB to play on the national team. He's had a below par playoffs, though, averaging 7 points a game. He only had 4 points in game 1. So he's an offensive stream that the Bristol Flyers haven't been able to rely on in the playoffs, and they need him to step up today. He's currently at 0 points.
Nice pass. Circus finish from Loving doesn't go. Big 2 minutes here. Leicester up 4. King around to Ollison, putting it on the floor, getting all the way to the basket, and that will go with the foul. He will shoot an extra.
He likes them in threes. This time it's the old-fashioned way, straight to the rim. Nice adjustment, and is able to finish there with a left hand. Wow, great body control there. Softest finishes and drop through the rim.
Well, that is the second foul on Mark Loving. First Leicester player to get that. Loving's not convinced it was on him. But he will sit down for the last 2 minutes. So Ollison at the free throw line, trying to make it a 1-point game on the day and an 8-point game on aggregate.
He's been excellent, Dan. Someone who's averaging 10 points a game in the regular season. But his playoff basketball has been very, very impactful. 14 points a game. So he's someone who's well and above his averages and making an impact in playoff basketball.
Well, he's above already today with 11. Love, again aggressively to the rim, and he's into double figures as well.
He's been doing it in such an effective, quiet manner as well, doing it within the team system. 11 points personal. Wow.
Watson Gale, a little hesitation, back to Miller. Miller, deep 3, is good, and he ties it up.
That's a big one too. Mike Miller, leading from example, leading by example even. 9 points personal for him.
Jackson to the mid-range, and he's so effective from there.
He is, and he's got such a neutralizer mentality as well. Whenever a team has a run of fortune, Zach Jackson, you can almost guarantee he'll try to ruin it.
Ollison, rebound by Smith, who's through the foul and will score.
Good energy there on the offensive glass by Leslie Smith. He's not really looking to shoot the ball from the perimeter, so this time doing his work inside. Strong offensive rebound who towers over Zach Jackson and Love. And a strong finish.
Well, Nelson Henry will sit down with McKenzie returning to the game for Leicester. Smith, a bit like Delpesh, not really his forte, 15-foot shots. But he makes this one. Bristol ahead. Adekoya steps into the 3, off the mark, and King with the rebound. Smith. Oh, he throws it away, and Leicester will have the ball with the shot clock switched off and a chance to regain the lead on the day.
This is a good defensive stance from Adakoya.
Oh, that's a clumsy one. And the worst thing, oh, I thought it was his third, it's his second, my mistake. But they are over the limit, so it'll be 2 free throws. One guy you don't want to go to the free throw line is McKenzie. It's interesting, it's a bit like the end of the first leg, where there was the foul. Watson-Gale was a bit of a nothing foul, but it sent McKenzie to line. But it probably hurt Leicester more than it hurt Bristol, because Leicester wanted to take the last shot. They didn't want free throws there unless there's 0.5 seconds on the clock, and it allowed Bristol to come back the other way and take the points back.
It's almost identical timing as well. I probably might have to substitute Thomas Bell in here and help on the baseline like happened in game 1. But you're right, Dan. If Flyers can somehow capitalise here with his 8.4 seconds left.
Here's Watson-Gale. Ticking down the seconds. Ollison for 3. Knocks it down on the buzzer. Tevin Ollison gives Bristol the lead at the half. And the gap is going to be 5 as the two teams head to the locker room. That is a deep 3. What a big one that is. His third of the game.
It really is, and it was a great setup there from Jelani Watson-Gale, who sort of bided his time. It was perfect timing, and the space was wide enough there that when Ollison caught the ball, he could step into that shot. It was deep, but Ollison's shots have hit nothing but the bottom of the net, Dan.
Well, he has certainly been the catalyst for his team in the first half, and they've got 2 of the 8 points that they need to win by today to send themselves to the O2 next weekend as the sides head off to the locker rooms. And, well, very much still in the balance here in Leicester. It's 40-42. Let's get some reaction. Mark Loving is with Drew.
Mark, both teams going blow for blow in the first half. Describe to us how playoff basketball feels out there on the floor.
This is what basketball is all about. We got 2 teams fighting to not go home, and it's a close game right now, but hopefully we can get it done.
And you were aggressive early there, 10 big points. What holes were you able to find in this stingy Flyer defense?
Just being aggressive. We just played them a couple days ago, so you're able to know your opponent really well, and just taking advantage of what we've seen on film.
And you're down here by 2, but you're up by 5 on aggregate. What will the message be in the locker room?
Just keep our intensity up. We know they're going to come out aggressive. We just got to pick up the pace and match their intensity.
Thanks for your time. Good luck in the second half, Mark.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, intensity is the word, isn't it? From both sides, unsurprisingly given what is at stake, and there is barely anything to choose between these two. But the Flyers have chipped away at that 7-point lead. They lead at the halftime. Reaction and analysis is coming next. All right, then, we've got a ball game on our hands, haven't we? Because despite the fact the Riders started hot, and in particular Carrington Love, into double digits early on, the Flyers D started to do its thing, and then right on cue, so did its offense, keeping toe-to-toe with the Leicester Riders. And then that Tevin Olesen big shot to end the half and give them a 2-point lead. They're still 5 behind on aggregate, but it is absolutely game on. Kieran, let's talk about the momentum, the crucial timing of that shot. What's going to be happening in the locker room now compared to if they'd gone back into the locker room behind?
It's that fire in their bellies, right? It's like, we're clawing back in this. We're up in the game. We're playing some great basketball. Now let's go and get the job done.
We spent a lot of time talking about the battle of the boards, the Bristol Flyers' physicality, their prowess in terms of offensive boards. Turned out that wasn't much of a factor, and it wasn't much of a factor for Malcolm Delpeche in the first half, but that didn't stop his impact. He was into double digits, a key player for the Bristol Flyers. And I talked about how their offense started sparking. He was right at the front of that.
He's just there. He's a clean-up guy. He moves well for those big dunks, big block shot here, protecting the rim. He's just one of those players that just keeps going. But I just love his movement. I like to see these mobile bigs always finding a way to stay in the game without actually having to dominate the ball. So here's just clean up the glass, doing what he does best, finding good positioning, and like I said, getting points on the board.
We talked about Olesen dropping that 3 right at the end. He hit 3 of those, incidentally. Mike Miller warming up as well. If those two keep it rolling, Delpeche keeps getting buckets, they're right in this.
Definitely. They're doing a good job defensively as well. Leicester Riders are a hard team to stop, but they're being very physical, changing the game, and if they get some little bit more confidence, I think Jelani Watson if he gets going, this could be a real ball game.
Something really interesting happened very early on in the game. When we talk about the experience and the prowess of Rob Paternostro, he pulls Darian Nelson-Henry, his skipper, within a couple of minutes of the game, brings Aaron Menzies on, and Menzies has an instant impact.
Yeah, and this is what I love about the Leicester Riders, that's that accountability piece. So anyone can get pulled at any time, but the impact of the bench stepping up. You see Aaron Menzies, big offensive rebound for a 3, then a big block shot, and here, great screen, great opportunities for his teammates.
Now, as we were watching the game, you leant over to me and said, Evan Walsh has impressed you this season, and you think he could be a really big player for the Leicester Riders, and he stepped up right on cue, almost like he was listening to you.
He is a goal-getter. This is a big shot. Big shot, prime time. He is ready for these opportunities. He's aggressive. He can attack the basket. I always say, I watched him playing 3x3 a couple of seasons ago with GB. He is a player who can make an impact, and like I said, he is perfect for Rob's system.
Just to follow up on that quickly, in terms of the decision that Coach Paternostro made, not many coaches would have the guts to make that call early on in a playoff semi-final game, right?
And I think it's a lesson to be learned. You have to hold players to account, and there's always going to be players. If you buy into the system, there's always going to be players ready, and those players were ready to go.
Bench strength once again stepping up for the Leicester Riders, but this one is keenly poised, and then some. Speaking of which, so is the race for MVP. We'll find out next week who is going to be crowned league MVP. At halftime last week here on Sky Sports, you dropped a couple of names on the Achara shortlist, and you've got 2 more for us today, haven't you?
I do indeed, and that's the thing right now, that it's been a wide open league. We've had some great players from all teams really stepping up, making the league what it is. But I've got another couple in the bag that I'm going to show.
Let's have a look at the first one then, and we're seeing, of course, underline why he's on your shortlist with today's performance. And Zach Jackson, we know he's a good player, but he's stepped up this year. What's changed about his game?
So he's just been a little bit more aggressive. Like I said, he's needed to define himself a little bit more, shooting the ball better, but he makes so many big shots. And like I said, he's always going about taking care of business his own way, making the big shots, playing defense, doing whatever it takes. And his mindset, it's like he is so laser focused on just getting the job done.
It was interesting in commentary during the first half. Ant called him a player that neutralizes situations. It's so true, isn't it? He's so clutch. He ices games just at the right time.
Very much so. He is. He does ice games, but again, it's one of those things that's personality-wise, it's all business.
All right, so you've got Zach Jackson. You also have Taj Green. There is no surprise here because he has entertained us this season from the get-go.
And they are polar opposites, Taj Green plays all on emotion. He gets the crowd riled up, big dunks, makes a three-point shot, blocking shot, playing defense. He is a Mr. Do-It-All player, but I always say about him, new to the league, but he's looking like he wants to be here.
He plays with a smile on his face. He plays with an electrifying element to his game, which of course pleases the crowds everywhere that he plays. And I'm trying to work out the numbers here, but every week when we have our plays of the week, you bestow Akira Nachara disgusting. I think he must have had more than any other player this season.
I would have to agree with that. He is a player that just creates highlights and makes my job a little bit easier.
Oh, he's brilliant to watch. It's going to be a very tough call. They're going to announce the MVP next Sunday at the O2 playoff final. We're obviously going to find out who is going to be in there from this game, and the Lions, Cheshire, playing tomorrow in their decider. The MVP will be announced as well, and I guarantee you, we're going to be there.
You bought the noise, seen the hustle, ripped your team, so I get buckets in the paint. From the impossible to himself. So now you know.
You have the season finale next Sunday live from a packed O2 Arena. And there's a doubleheader, of course. The WBBL playoff final is first, and that is followed by the men. We're on 12:45 on Sky Sports Action. Join us for all the build-up for both of those big games. And it is always, I use the word electrifying for Taj Green. We could apply that adjective to the O2 as well on playoff finals day.
That's where you want to be, man. Like I said, I never got the experience as a player, but getting the experience on the sidelines, it is electrifying.
If you are heading down there, make sure you come and say hi. And if not, well, you can watch us right here on Sky Sports. Now, which of these two teams is going to be joining us? It is wide open, isn't it? The lead across the tie cut to just 5 points now. Can Bristol pull off mission impossible? We'll find out in just a moment. The Flyers are up by 2 on the night. The Riders up by 5 on the tie. This one could go either way. Let's get back to Drew and Dan.
Thank you very much, Nat. Well, as everybody knows, the most important statistic with the Bristol Flyers is field goal percentage. When they shoot 43% or more, they are 20-1 this season. They are shooting 48%. It doesn't matter about the offensive rebounds if they put the ball in the basket the first time out.
Those offensive rebounds will come in clutch, though, Dan. Believe me when I say that. If this is a team that's active on the glass, it's getting more opportunities to increase that field goal percentage that little bit higher.
Well, they won the first half by 2. They need to win the second half by 6. 5 would send it to overtime if we at 7 at the end. And there's 3 of them, start and finish.
And if you wanted to beat the Leicester Riders, this is how you beat them, from downtown, as Bristol Flyers currently have made 7 threes so far here tonight. And the biggest takeaway from the first half is keeping them off the free throw line. Only 6 attempts for the Leicester Riders. We could be in store for something great here tonight.
Ollison. Oh, Delpesh with another huge block. It'll be a Leicester ball from the end. But there's only 4.9 to work with.
Positive start here from the Flyers. Tevin Olsen knocking down a 3. Then you've got Delpesh inside protecting the rim.
And a slap down from Ollison knocks the ball loose. And Bristol can tie the game up on aggregate. Maybe even take the lead. That'll be a long 2. Doesn't go. Oh, but flying through the air is Bell. Back to Delpesh and bobbles it. And we are tied on aggregate.
Wow, what an incredible blindsided offensive rebound there from Thomas Bell to create that second chance, and Delpesh delivers.
Love kicked out. Loving hits the 3, and Ollison is on the floor in some pain.
Love to Loving, as he's done so far all season long. 6 assists, getting into the teeth of the defense and kicking it out to Mark Lovell, where he picks off right where he left off from the first half.
Excellent recognition by Carrington Love as well, who's scoring the ball well himself with 11 points, but he's got 5 assists, and that's a big one. Mark Lovell, huge shot. He'll be the last guy that they want on the injury list. Tevin Olsen right now playing like an all-star.
And we've seen him before recently in the playoffs against Manchester Giants in the first leg, going off.
Here he is again. Not this time, a rare miss, but that's going to be, is it a foul, or I think it's a foul on Jackson. Miller went down spectacularly.
Just good energy again, and Zach Jackson knows that he has to do something to keep these guys off the boards.
Delpesh. Here's Delpesh trying to spin back to the hook and softly bounces it in.
The Bristol Flyers not only getting it done from the outside, but inside as well, as Delpesh pivots and hits him with the signature jump hook.
Love is open. He misses. He knows it's missing, but he can't get to the rebound before King.
Flyers have dodged the bullet there. Poor defensively there. Didn't locate Carrington Love, who can knock that shot down.
Delpesh misses, and again they're going after the offensive rebound, but Love comes away with it. Jackson quickly, but misses.
He did the hard part, didn't he? Weaved around the defender because King was in pursuit of him. But a rare miss there from Zach Jackson, who's almost automatic from that area.
And I actually thought he was going to kick the ball to Mark Loving there in the opposite corner, as he's just hit one a couple of possessions ago. A missed opportunity there for the Leicester Riders.
Well, Bristol haven't led this tie since the first couple of minutes of the first leg. And a score here puts them ahead on aggregate. Here's Miller trying to get it. Oh, he misses it. Nelson Henry, top of the key, knocks it down.
Darian Nelson-Henry. It's one of those things when he delivers the news that he's going to be retiring. He's played so well since that announcement. Everyone in here will be like, one more year, one more season.
Miller for three, rims out.
Nice look there from Mike Miller, just rims out there.
Feel a turn now in the tide, and Bristol Flyers have just given the Riders a big punch here at the start of this third.
Trying to get to the rim, and Delpesh, I think, is called for the foul there. It is number 22 shown to the table, and that will be his third personal foul.
And that's what the Riders...
My mistake, second.
That's what the Riders do have. They have that mental resilience. We've seen it. We've seen very talented teams crumble when runs are being put on them, but you have Leicester Riders here just embracing and absorbing these little stints of adversity. That's why the Leicester Riders have been so successful this year.
And you're right, and I talked about that at the type. These aggregate games are so tricky mentally, because normally if you have a lead in the first leg and the other team comes back and they tie to take the lead, the first thing you think is, uh-oh. But as you mentioned, the Leicester Riders have been here before, and they know that it's a long basketball game, but most importantly, it's a game of runs.
They've been through so many of them over the years. You think back to last year, playoff quarterfinal against Plymouth, they won the first leg, I think it was by 18, and actually got behind in the second leg before eventually winning the game. Got behind on aggregate in the second leg.
Great defense here from Carrington Love. And I don't know, I mean, there's a lot of contact there, but Jelani Watson-Gale having to push Love off just because the defense was so suffocating.
Yeah, both guys offensively and defensively jocking each other. Love, that's what he do, likes to get in your airspace, and Watson keeping him off. And like I say, let's play on.
It's probably the last one on the arm there. That
there was about 3 or 4 fouls in that replay alone.
Watson-Gale to Smith, who goes through the foul and lays it in.
What a powerful move then. As soon as he received the ball, Leslie Smith just explodes to the rim. That's a great look from Jelani Watson-Gale. And over 7'3", Menzies. Second three-point play for this evening for Smith.
Well, you talked about how Watson-Gale hasn't played up to his normal standards here in the playoffs, and he's showing a little bit of growth here in the third quarter, because it ain't all about scoring. If your shot's not falling, what else can you do? You can dish, you can rebound, you can do the little things. And Watson-Gale, as he dishes off to Smith, and he goes to the line for one.
5 assists for Watson-Gale now as well, so he's certainly distributing the basketball.
And Smith, for the second time today, converts a three-point play. This aggregate lead is 1. Kenzie off the mark. Smith with the rebound.
That was a great contest from the Bristol Flyers.
That's an illegal screen by Smith.
Yeah, it's, we've seen referees really clamp down on that this year, and those are the plays too. It is a turnover, so you've got to be extra careful there. Wow, what contact there for both players.
That's a play that kills you if you're the Bristol Flyers. You're not going to be able to generate as much momentum against the Leicester Riders, so when you're on the brink of it, you got to grab the bull by the horn. So a missed opportunity there by the Flyers.
Yeah, it's a turnover. It's the same as throwing the ball out of bounds, isn't it, in terms of momentum killer. What can the Riders do here, given their chance to extend their lead now?
Jackson fires up the three off the front of the rim. And good boxing out ensures that Bell gets it on the bounce. Watson-Gale behind the back to Smith. Rims out for three, Loving with the rebound. There's going to be a foul on Jackson.
And that's the thing. Sometimes you don't have to get the offensive rebound. You just have to put the fear in the opposition. And Zach Jackson, again, he's having to foul because he knows that this Flyers team are hunting in packs.
The Riders over the limit. Because the ball is in the air, nobody has possession. It'll be 2 free throws for Thomas. Well, it looked like Bell got fouled there, was it? Or was it on my imagination? King's on the line. Well, the referees have corrected them. And, well, we saw earlier in the season, you send the wrong guy, you lose the free throws.
It's been a long season. I'm just glad that you're still on the board, Dan.
Well, I got that wrong, so that's how I remember it.
But from the Flyers' perspective, they've earned this opportunity as Bell steps up and knocks down the first one. Why? Because they approach the second half with those double E's, energy and effort. And a lot of times that's what it comes down to, winning those 50-50 battles, those loose balls. And Bell has done that from the jump.
And Bell has put Bristol in front on aggregate for the first time today. It's the Flyers fans screaming for the defense right now. Loving into Menzies, traveling violation.
It's good penetration there from Mark Love, and I think it's the right decision. You just want a little bit more composure there from Aaron Menzies, who got the ball there a few feet away from the rim, where he's been so effective as of late.
Needed to go up rather than pivot. He was all right with the first step if you're going for a shot. Here's Bell, stumbling, blocked by Menzies.
It's a good recovery. If you get that turnover the other end of the floor, you want a positive response, and Menzies does just that. You see Bell, though, he's out of control and sort of off balance, but we've seen Bell make those shots all season. Very unorthodox in his approach.
Shot clock ticking down. King stumbling, trying to find some room to the fall away. Air ball.
Excellent defense from Zach Jackson.
Whelan for 3. Those have to go in because you've got no chance of an offensive rebound.
Yeah, a little bit of high risk, high reward there for Whelan. We've seen him knock down that shot before. But maybe in these moments you need to display a little bit of patience.
A little bit of difference here from Coach Kapoulis as well. He give a lot of the heavy load of the point guard minutes there to Jelani Watson-Gale. Usually Corey Samuels comes up and relieves Mike Miller, who's back on court now. So you've got 2 natural ball handlers on the floor for the Flyers.
Here is Miller. Smith. Trying to get to the rim, and does.
Wow. Leslie Smith, you said it in the first half, and he needed to be more aggressive from the top of the key. I think you took your advice as he drives strong left over the 7'3" Aaron Menzies. Finishes it for 2.
Well, he's more versatile. He's got that foot speed, and he used it to his advantage there. And Leslie Smith's been really good at going to the rim. He's had 2 and 1s so far today, and his 8-point contribution off the bench has been huge for the Flyers.
Well, I was talking to somebody from Bristol before the game, and he said, I hope we can just get back in front on aggregate. And I said, most teams do. When you're down 6, 7, 8 like that, most teams do. Last week was a bit weird in that nobody came back in the second leg to take the aggregate lead. The question always is, once you get back into the lead, how does that affect A, the way you play, and B, the way the other team responds?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Usually when you're behind, there's a point in the game where you do take the lead, but it's always temporary, as you mentioned there, Dan. So this last 4 minutes, it will be really interesting to see if the Bristol Flyers have any left in the tank from an emotional standpoint, because if you're thinking about it, who thought they would be here when it was 41-16 in that first game? It's taken a lot of energy to get here. Can they maintain that?
Well, there's still a long way to go in this ball game, but for the Bristol Flyers fans protecting their pink playoff t-shirts, they are feeling it right now. They've been really loud in the last couple of minutes behind their team as they've got themselves in front. Here's McKenzie for 3, strings it, and we are level on aggregate.
Kimball McKenzie, we've seen him just express himself this year. Mentally tough, a competitor, and that's a big shot.
Defense now coming from those in red t-shirts. Knocked away. Adekoya has it.
Excellent defense again by Zach Jackson.
Loving loses it. Miller is out in front. Nobody will catch him. He'll get an easy lay-in. And he knocks the ball away. That'll be a delay of game warning.
Bristol Flyers doing a great job of using their defense to create offense. I talked about it, only 5 fast break points in the first game, and couldn't come at a better time as Mike Miller skies alone for 2.
Well, I'm not 100% sure that he did get a warning in that. He should have, because he even owned up to it. Here's Walsh. Travels with it.
This is playoff basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Both ends of the floor. Such a high intensity, Ian. On that occasion, the defense is equal. The travel there from Evan Walsh, who turns the ball over.
Miller under pressure, travels with it himself.
This is where you see the errors creep in here. It's really easy for us to sit here and analyze what's going on, but when you're in that moment, you're not just physically tired, you're mentally exhausted, you're emotionally exhausted, and there's still a lot of this basketball game to go, so you always question who's got that extra reserves mentally and physically to get the job done.
And the word that sticks out to me, Ant, is poise. Because you can feel the emotion in this building. You can feel the nerves. You can feel the cheers, but you can't be too emotionally invested. You got to be in the moment.
Jackson trying to find room along the baseline. Somehow gets away. It almost went in. Oh, no, it's a traveling violation. Or is it? Wait, the referees are going to talk this over. It's a travel. Wow.
3 in a row. Can't see that too many times in a professional basketball.
It is a travel.
It
is a travel. On replay, it is a travel.
But that's a credit to the defense of both teams stepping it up here.
Flyers by 2 on aggregate. Watson Gale. Delpesh trying to post up. There's not a lot of time here. Watson Gale passes it off to Miller in the corner. Rims out. Jackson goes high for the rebound. Thrown quick, but not over Delpesh.
Great rebound from Zach Jackson, but a bad decision.
Watson Gale way off the mark. Wow.
Got to have a little bit more patience there. Get into your set. You're in control of this basketball game.
Adekoya putting it on the floor, dumps it off to Walsh, who drops it in, and with less than 2 to play in the third, the aggregate scores are tied up, and Evan Walsh plays cheerleader as Andreas Kapoulas calls a timeout.
That's just great penetration there, and I thought the defense overhelped. You didn't need to come across there that aggressively, which meant Adekoya was able to dump that ball down to Evan Walsh, who textbook kept the ball high, soft finish, nice play.
Well, it's knowing your scout as well. If you watch Adekoya, normally it's very rare that he goes all the way downhill. He usually ends up in a spin or a turnaround fadeaway. But like we mentioned, that overhelp from the defense, and this is what it comes down to, guys.
This is exactly it. There's 12 minutes to play, and the 2 scores are tied, and this is what we signed up for.
Exactly. This is what we want. This is what we asked for.
Well, the Bristol Flyers trying to do something they've never done before and make it to a playoff final. The Leicester Riders have been to 5 of the last 6.
Well, you guys conversating about what people want. We want this, but there's some nervous fans at home wishing they were up by 20. For the neutral, you are certainly right, because we have everything, and if you're not here today in the Morningside Arena, I can only try and articulate. You can feel the pressure coming from the stands and ricocheting off the court, because the players too, you see that little bit more tightness now. As the game grows longer, you really see the intensity increase.
It is really loud in here. Here's Watson Gale.
And Riders sitting in a 2-3 zone at the moment.
King at the foul line, back iron. Leicester get the rebound. So it's harder to rebound in a zone.
Yeah, that's a shot King should make, really. He's on 5 points personal, so he's not been his usual prolific self, but It's a high post, mid-range jump shot you've got to make to get the opposition out of that zone.
Whelan stepped back for three, nearly went down, but he is fouled. Mahan picks up his third, he'll shoot three.
Wow, Mahan there stepping in the landing space of Pat Whelan. And Pat Whelan talked about it earlier. Coming into this season, he wanted to improve his game off the dribble, creating his own shot. You saw it there as the ball rims out.
Halfway down as well. It's a really confident shot. Patrick Whelan on 3 points. So again, by his standards, he hasn't had that shooting in volume or scoring in volume, but that's a big play there from him.
Leicester back on top on aggregate.
But the promising thing for the Leicester Riders is when you're struggling, get to that free throw line. 8 for 9 for the night. The best free throw shooting team in the British Basketball League.
79% on the season, they're 9 for 10 today. Whelan makes no mistake. And it's a 4-point game on the day. 3 points, the aggregate lead now for Leicester. Again, they're in this zone. King creates room for three. Misses. And this is what I'm talking about on the rebounding. Here's Ollison, steps underneath and finger rolls it in.
Beautiful pump fake there, and Ollison's just showing us his natural ability to score. He's 19 points personal for him now and leads all scorers.
Whelan gives it to Jackson, has the size here. Doesn't have a lot of time to work with, and he misses. Wow.
Tough stance there by Watson Gill, forcing Jackson to the tough fadeaway shot.
It's a little low. Delpech does well to catch it. He can't convert, but he will shoot two.
He does extremely well, Dan. You know, I'm always ready to throw out a compliment for the big man, but Delpech has had to gather that ball from such a low level there, and he's done that while keeping control and going to the rim.
And that's elite hand-eye coordination there from Delpech. We don't normally see bigs able to stoop that low and be able to gobble in the ball as smooth as Delpech did there.
I thought it was a bad pass as well, but it was actually Jabril Adekoya who deflects that. Good defensive play from him.
Well, he's not happy that he got a foul called against him. He's still chuntering about it. Delpech makes the first. He doesn't often make 2 for 2. He does this time.
Level of focus.
Defying all odds.
Well, Flyers by 1. Leicester will basically have the last play of the third quarter. Oh, no, they won't because he's stolen away. Miller has it. Miller running. Lobs up to Delpech with the alley-oop jam on the buzzer. And the Bristol Flyers will go into the fourth quarter ahead on aggregate. Their biggest lead of the ball game at 10 points. And they have a 3-point advantage with only 10 minutes to play. A place in the playoff final right up for grabs. And it's Bristol who currently hold it. We will have the deciding 10 minutes when we return. 10 to play here in Leicester. Bristol with the advantage. It's a narrow one, but they are ahead. Leicester with the ball. Whelan is mugged from behind by Ollison.
Well, we talked about it coming into this game. Bristol Flyers needing to generate easy points, and that alley-oop at the end of the quarter. Only their fourth fast break point couldn't come at a better time.
McKenzie, they've left him wide open. It doesn't make them pay, though. Nelson Henry called for the foul on the rebound.
Wow, that's a dodging of a bullet if I've ever seen one. They seem to just leave the ball and, more importantly, leave Kimball McKenzie open for the three-point line.
Here's Delpesh. Ollison running to create the ball, and he's jammed in by Thomas Bell.
It's Thomas Bell again. He's had some miraculous offensive rebounds today, and this time he capitalizes himself with a dunk putback.
McKenzie. It's almost stolen away by Bell. McKenzie turning the corner, driving hard, too strong. Jackson gets the rebound, didn't hit the ring, and it's a traveling violation.
That's a great call.
No, it's a foul on Jackson.
Well, I must have missed the foul, but I definitely saw the travel there.
These are these plays. This is this Bristol Flyers team, the way they play. Offensive rebounds, these dunk shots, it's contagious. It's a positive effect on the other end of the floor. Now they get a defensive stop. The team are confident, they're rolling. And the Leicester Riders are going to have to figure out a way here to remedy this, because at the moment, it's the Riders that look like they're on the ropes on their home court.
Well, a 5-point lead, the biggest they've had at any stage in the tie, Bristol. They only led by 2 at home. Ollison back out to Watson Gale, stolen away by Love. Numbers here. Bristol recover well. Loving out to McKenzie for 3. No, Leicester can't buy a bucket right now.
Wow, well, we know in these moments that rim gets smaller and smaller, and right now the Leicester Riders is the size of a teacup.
Foul called on the screen on Delpesh. Just a little too wide on the stance.
From the Flyers' perspective, you have to maximize every single offensive possession.
Well, it's the defensive possessions they've been maximizing so recently, and they get another stop.
I think the shots are missed. There's no offensive rebounding inside or any easy baskets around the paint. We're going to have to look to establish now maybe a Nelson Henry or someone to get some high percentage shots around the rim.
Delpesh trying to get the rebound. Whelan has it. Back to Loving. Loving kicks through the corner, and McKenzie. They needed that, Leicester.
Wow. Needed it. McKenzie doing what he's done all season, stepping up when the Leicester Riders need him the most as he strokes that left corner ball 3.
Gap is 2. Poked away by Love, but illegally so. Foul called on Carrington Love.
But he's been very effective though in that area, hasn't he? He's had a couple big steals here. So you're always going to play risk of getting called like that. But I think they'd rather have him active and looking to steal that basketball whenever it's in his vicinity.
His 3rd.
3 steals to Love today.
Here's Ollison trying to use his size, gets to the fall away, misses everything. Love has it. Love into the key, back out to Nelson Henry on the trail. He's fouled and will lay it in.
Wow! Big man straight down the middle. And it's Nelson Henry like a steam train who's able to absorb the contact and finish the play.
But look who started it all, Love, as he gets out on the break and feeds the big man, and he does the rest as you can see the look on his face.
Well, it looked for a second like he was going to take off and absolutely hammer this, and then he realized maybe a little step too far out, or maybe
I just said I'm retiring in a couple of weeks.
I need these knees.
Exactly.
But no, it's a good decision from Carrington Love. That's his 7th assist, and you know, Carrington Love, what he's bringing on at the moment is energy on the defensive end. He's got 12 points. 7 assists himself, but you know, again, it's a prime example where you need these players now to step up and make the right decisions when you've got a high-intense game. It's really usual for players to make what we perceive to be foolish decisions and mistakes, but it's because of the high intensity of the game and the speed of the game.
And speaking of Love, he's done that in only 17 minutes. He's been Riders' best player so far tonight. And who would have thought that 2 months ago, 3 months ago, when he was struggling offensively, and it just took him a little time to get his legs, and boy, it could not come at a better time for the Leicester Riders.
12.7 assists, exactly what they needed from their point guard. Now their captain has a chance with 7 minutes and 9 seconds to play to put Leicester back in front on aggregate. But he misses it. It's only the second missed free throw of the game for Leicester. Here's Miller. A big third quarter doing the damage as far as Bristol are concerned. But Leicester replying here at the start of the fourth. There will be 2 free throws here for the Flyers.
It's a good take here from Miller, and you can see overzealous. Their 4th foul now on Carrington Love, which will hurt the Riders on both ends of the floor, may I add. But it's Mike Miller that's made the intelligent play there and got the defenders to commit the foul.
So Jackson returns for Love. Although it's that time of year where I don't think he'll be sitting for too long.
7 minutes though, this fourth quarter, Dan. It's a long way to go. It's a long way.
And these are the decisions that got to be made there. I'm thinking from Rob's perspective that, like we mentioned, Love has been their best player on the floor. You got to ride the momentum, but
There's good hands from Jackson to deny the three-point shot. Bristol with another offensive rebound. Knocked away. I think that came off King's leg. No, it's a Bristol ball. Look, the way it went. Jackson definitely knocked it loose. Let's see if we can see. Jackson knocks it loose, or maybe it didn't. Maybe I'm talking rubbish. Maybe it was Loving that it bounced off.
Either way, though, there's not an inch being given. No, it's like a barrier.
4 seconds on the shot clock. It's back to Smith. He's lost the dribble. It needs to go up. It's on the buzzer. It misses everything, and Leicester get the rebound.
Just a little composure there. King had a relatively good look there. It was good. It was deeper, but it was good enough. He's way off the mark on that occasion.
Nelson Henry to the hook. Nice play.
And who said the big man was extinct as Nelson Henry gets to his spot? Comes the troops. Nice and soft over the left shoulder.
Leicester back ahead. Trading leads here in the fourth quarter. Bell thought about the three. Took it to the rim. He was blocked. Well, certainly the ball was clean, but there must have been something on the body.
Oh, it didn't look like a lot to me, and it was a definitely clean up above where the action was with the ball. But the foot speed again is clearly in the favour of maybe Patrick Whelan coming over as well has bumped him into Nelson Henry, because that's a clean where the ball's at.
Wow, tough call there as Nelson Henry goes out this game with his fourth personal.
Bristol's chance to go back in front.
And that's a loss to on Nelson Henry, because we just witnessed him feeding the ball to him inside and then making a that strong, mature move to the rim for an easy 2. So now that area of the offense is taken away or out of the equation for at least a period of time now when Nelson Henry sits on the bench.
What will be interesting in this final 6 minutes will be the chess pieces played by the coaches. You're talking about Rob, a former coach of the year, and then Andreas having his best season thus far. Could possibly win his first coach of the year award.
He won one. He won one his first year in.
We're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that one.
We've got 2 very good coaches on the sidelines of this fixture, and it's showing.
Here's Loving, loses the ball. Bristol get it back.
Sloppy from Mark Lovin as he tries to get to his spot. He loses the handle there.
King trying to get a little bit of space. I thought it was going up there. Watson Gale gets it back into the key. Dancing out to Bell for 3. Banks it in. I don't think he called it, but they count.
It was definitely long, and I don't think he did call it, but sometimes fortune favors the brave, and he was brave enough to take that shot.
And what a shot for the Flyers. Currently up 4 on aggregate at the moment.
Stolen away, not quite by Bell. 4.6 on the shot clock.
These little 50-50 plays here at the moment. Bristol Flyers have snatched that battle and they're winning those extra effort plays. Energy and effort, Drew.
Loving, deep 3. Got it!
What a reply from Mark Lovin. As difficult as they come, it's heavily contested. But it doesn't matter because Mark Lovin knocks it down.
And under the bright lights of the playoffs, you need your stars to shine. And Mark Lovin, who's had a great season all season long, wants to be part of that.
Bell, late in the shot clock, to the spin, trying to find room. Misses, and Menzies with the rebound. Leicester can regain the lead. Whelan driving hard, finishing through the foul. Basket is good. Patrick Whelan screams to the crowd as he moves Leicester in front.
And we've seen that before. Pat Whelan putting his head down, getting down to his right hand as he pumps up this capacity crowd here at Morningside Arena.
It's a good acknowledgement from him. He saw a gap there in the defense and he saw cup the ball like it was a rugby ball. Because he knew there's hands there, there's busy hands everywhere. And it's such a strong finish. Wow.
Converts the 3-point play. Leicester back ahead. 2 points separate the teams. 4 minutes to play. Miller, nice pass, Delpesh is fouled. Jackson.
Goodness me. It was a contestant, it was a brave one from Zach Jackson. Goodness me, high above the rim.
His 4th personal foul. Leicester in all sorts of foul trouble.
But we've seen Del Pesh on the top 10 plays all season long. And during the regular season, 99% of players in the league are moving out the way. But in the playoffs, you gotta make those effort plays. Great job there by Zach Jackson.
You're right. If you would ask any player on that court, I'll take 3 posters if you get me through to the O2 Arena.
Delpesh misses both.
And he's rewarded for that brave contest. Delpesh coming up empty there from the free throw line.
Whelan under pressure, gets it back to McKenzie. Jackson for 3. Oh, Zach Jackson!
And it was really good defense from the Bristol Flyers. The rotations were on point. The speed of the contest was on point there from King, but it didn't matter because Zach Jackson now with an equally big play.
And 9
Listen to the noise. And the defense gets the stop.
And BJ King has struggled all night long. The Flyers' best player over the course of the season. 1 for 6, 5 points.
McKenzie Out to Jackson, thought about the three. He's got King in front of him. He's going to take another one. Not this time. 3 to play. Bristol work to do. Ollison trying to get 3 here. Oh, it's off. Miller, can he stay in bounds? Yes, he can. Just great balance from Mike Miller. Driving to the rim and the finish. Bodies everywhere.
Such a gutsy play, isn't it, from Mike Miller? He gets the rebound himself, takes it out himself, then he takes it right at Menzies, who is a significant size bigger than him, but the no-fear mentality there ensures that Mike Miller prevails. Top finish.
And that's a high-level finish, as you mentioned there, and 7'3" Aaron Menzies. And Mike Miller wills himself to 2 points.
And McKenzie, I don't know if it's a tactical shoelace tie just to get some breath, but he ties his shoelace. Riders lead by 3 on aggregate. McKenzie can't quite get the ball, so Whelan's going to have to get it across midcourt, and he does so in time. McKenzie for 3. No. And great rebound again from the Flyers captain. King to tie it. No. Whelan with the rebound.
Well, they're still going with King, mostly part because he's had such an incredible season for them, 18 points a game, but he's not a hot hand. They need to figure out a way now to establish someone in the closing stages of this game to put points on the board for the Flyers team.
Jackson. That's a goaltend. Bell goes through the rim to tip it away. That basket will count.
Another big play from Zach Jackson there, who this time uses those 2-3 steps and that trusted floater we've seen all season long. As you see, the hands come through the rim there. Automatic goaltend.
Well, you got to try everything at playoff time when the season's on the line. He just tried to see if he could sneak away with a little hand through the rim, but wasn't to be. And Bristol, who led this game by as many as 12, which was a 5-point aggregate lead, now find themselves in the reverse position. 5 points aggregate down with 1:55 to go. The Bristol fans there in their pink came in great number and great voice. Can they see their team do it? Andres Dopoulos called this timeout about 3 or 4 times, and then something happened. He goes, no. Timeout? No. He would keep calling it, cancelling it, depending on literally every play that happened.
And it goes back to what you were originally saying, Dan, in that you fight and you claw so hard to get back into the game. How much do you have left at the end? We're all, it's not unlimited fuel mentally, physically, emotionally. There's a point in time where that just exhausts, and have Bristol Flyers exhausted their efforts here to advance the O2 Arena.
They've got 1:55 to do it. That, by the way, was Andreas' last time out, which is why he debated with it for so long.
Responsible for this Riders team. Big plays from their players.
Oh, Miller throws it away, but he throws it away because he was fouled by McKenzie. So it'll be 2 free throws for Mike Miller.
To see, but either way, Mike Miller's the one making a positive move towards the rim.
63.3% free throw shooter on the season, Mike Miller. He needs these 2. First one hits the bottom of the net. Oh, it's way short. Miles short. Well, Leicester in no rush. McKenzie has to get over half court, which he does. Menzies doesn't really want the ball there, and Delpesh helps him out there by committing the foul, but they are over the limit now. And Aaron Menzies, who's only a 59.5% free throw shooter, will go to the line. 25 of 42 for the season. 4th foul on Delpesh. The second Flyer to get there.
He's a guy that hasn't been to the line an awful lot this year. And what a baptism of fire here, some big shots.
He doesn't get a friendly bounce. 4 and 5 isn't a massive difference, but psychologically it would feel big. He makes the second.
It's a big one too, because he's equaled Mike Miller's last trip to the free throw line.
90 seconds to play. It's all on the line here at the Morningside Arena. Miller gets it back from Delpesh. Here's Bell, thought about the three, spinning, blocked, but an offensive rebound and put back. Delpesh doing it again.
Excellent help there from Menzies to come across and block that shot, but it's the active Delpesh who's able to finish that left-hand hook shot. Big play.
Bristol need a stop here with just over a minute to go. Trailing by 3 on aggregate. McKenzie, Jackson, thought about the three, turned it down. Late in the shot clock, has to go up, gets it away, misses everything. Delpesh with the rebound, Bristol get the stop they need, down 3. Miller to the hole, misses, and Leicester get the rebound. And what do Bristol do now? Do they foul? No, they don't. You certainly don't want to foul McKenzie. Leicester going to take 24 off the clock here. Bristol must stop them. They must stop them. They have no timeouts either. McKenzie with the dagger! Misses! But is it? No! It's a help ball! It's a Bristol possession. 18.4 seconds to go. I thought for a second a Leicester offensive rebound might be the key. Who would have thought that?
That would have been a way to end it, wouldn't it, if it was Riders? And that's just an excellent extra effort there from Bell the third, because he lost possession for a half a second there, but he flung himself on the floor first.
Adekoya comes in. Bell also sits down. They've got Watson Galen because they need a three. They desperately need a three. Ollison is the obvious choice with 18.4.
They need to create more for Ollison. They haven't went to him enough, I don't feel like, in this game. 4 for 7 from the three-point line.
Miller, Delpesh will get 2. Leicester will call timeout. 9.2 seconds to go. Leicester will call timeout. They are up 1. They will presumably advance the ball here and then try and, get the ball to McKenzie would be option number 1, wouldn't it?
I mean, the thing is as well, on that previous play, you can work several seconds more off the clock there to try and get a three-point look, but if that doesn't go down, then it's all but out of reach. But they've got a quick score there, which now they'll look to steal the basketball off the inbounds. If that doesn't happen, it's got to be a quick foul there.
Well, yeah, from Leicester's point of view, you give up the 2 to save the 3. You could see that Loving thought about coming across, and earlier in the game he might have challenged that, but couldn't afford to give up a potential three-point play. So Leicester will advance the ball to the front court. They have this play, we saw them running earlier, we've seen them run it loads, where Whelan comes off the double screen and McKenzie comes off the double screen. But Bristol will have seen that play a number of times as well.
Sometimes it's not what you do, it's how you do it, and Rob Paternoster will be delivering that message to his guys, and that everything has to be that extra more perfect in its execution. The screen set, the cuts, the timing.
9.2, Leicester need to get the ball in. Bristol need a steal. If they don't get a steal, they have to commit a foul to stop the clock. It's into Loving, and that's a grab around the waist. You've got to be careful with that. Referees are going to talk to each other here, because it's not really a play on the ball. He's grabbed him round the waist. You don't want to give them the option to consider an unsportsmanlike. I don't think they'll call it, but you never know.
You're right, Dan. I mean, we've seen them being called all season. No play on the ball, whether it's malice or not.
Well, Conflab to decide. It is a regular foul, so it'll be 2 shots. Loving needs both of these, that's for sure. He's an 85.5% free throw shooter. I'm not quite sure what the discussion is at the table here. Unless they're wondering if any seconds were lost. But Loving will shoot 2. Both of them means Bristol need a 3. He makes the first.
The composure.
Big shot for Mark Loving here. And he makes them both. And Leicester again lead by 3. Again, Watson Gale comes back into the game. There's not going to be enough time for a 2, I don't think, this time. This time they need a 3 to force overtime. Delpesh, here's Watson Gale. Watson Gale going the long way round, the fall away, misses everything, Loving with the rebound, and Leicester once again are going to the O2. Rob Palinostro and his team, for the 6th time in 7 years, have made it to the playoff final.
Game 1 was an explosive game. This was multiplied, the drama was multiplied. The plays by the players from both clubs had that sense of desperation. Both of these organisations wanted that stamp their ticket at the O2 Arena, but it's the Leicester Riders that came on top. But boy, was that a valiant effort from the Flyers.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, in the moment you go with the winners, but what an incredible season the Flyers have had. They've set all the records for their club, and they were this close to a first ever playoff final. Andreas Kapoulis and his team.
Well, the Flyers had it this year. They had that unity and collective nature about their group. They were the underdogs coming in. We didn't know what to make of them. No one did. They were brand new. It was a blank slate. And they have been able to create their own destinies to an extent. And boy, are they leaving this competition this year with a high reputation, because they fully deserved it.
Well, here's the numbers on the day, and I said to you beforehand, when Bristol shoot above 43%, they always win, almost always win. You know what they shot overall today, Anne? 42%.
Well, they won the game, Dan. They just didn't win the series. And the offensive rebounds, they were contagious. You can't deny that. They really did propel this club on to do almost the unthinkable, and that was to beat the Leicester Riders in this building by 7 or more.
Well, they don't often win here. It's only their 3rd victory at the Morningside Arena, but for them it was not by enough points, unfortunately. It is the Leicester Riders who are celebrating, and the Leicester Riders are going to the O2. Let's get some reaction. Mark Loving is with Drew.
Mark, what a slugfest. 8.5 seconds left on the clock. You're up 3 points. Walk us through that final defensive possession.
I mean, we had to run them off the line. We couldn't give up a 3. We were up 7 altogether, so they hit a 3, we went to overtime. So we were able to get a stop, and they played a heck of a game.
And who else but yourself on the line, up 1? You had 2 free throws. What was going through your mind?
Nothing. I've done this before. That was going through my mind. Just being calm and collected in the moment, and they were able to go in.
And defensive has been a point of emphasis over the past 2 months. How have you been able to maintain your defensive precision there in the second half, only holding the Flyers to 37 points?
Paying attention to our scout report. We do a lot of film work, and hopefully we can carry it over. And we got a big task in front of us in this next game.
And finally, just to finish, talk about your team's composure. Green hits a 3 off the glass to go up 3. But then you guys go on a 6-0 run yourselves.
Yeah, that shot he hit was very big. It was a turning moment in the game, but being resilient and not looking at the scoreboard, because the scoreboard, obviously we lost the game, but overall we were up enough points to pull it out.
Well, Mark, the matchup is unknown, but the Leicester Riders are riding all the way to the O2. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, we talked about the scoring efficiency of this Riders side all season long. There isn't an offense in the BBL that is more efficient. Today, they wasn't really vintage Leicester, but it was vintage Mark Loving. 62% from the floor, 18 points, and it was his cool hand at the death that finished it off.
he's just so smooth with it, you know, and then coming up clutch with those 2 big free throws. A lot of people, you know, wouldn't be able to stay as composed, but he just found a way and got the job done.
It's interesting in a situation like that. I mean, right at the end, he was really calm and collected earlier on in the game as well. And by no means was the only player. We'll see in a minute. Carrington Love stepped up as well. Zach Jackson stepped up. But Loving seems to do this time and again. Nothing seems to faze him as a player.
Yeah, and like I said, he's just been making big shots at the right time. And it's great to see. There are a lot of people question him in the big games, Drew Lasker, but he's found a way to step up and carry his team when he needed to.
He's definitely using that as locker room material. I can guarantee that. He had a big game then. The supporting cast did for Leicester as well. Evan Walsh, who we mentioned at halftime, he was prolific in terms of his scoring. And he had a big afternoon, and so did Carrington Love. Carrington Love set the tone early on, of course, really started to spark this Riders offense in the first half.
Yeah, he's just playing some great basketball. You know, he's got a clock going early on, making, you know, tough layups, hitting big threes. And what he does is he finds a way to just play within the system and get his teammates going as well. So he can score. You know, look here, he's composed, sizing up his man, knocking down big threes, but then he's also dropping off dishes and getting people going. So it's great to see he's finding his flow at the right time.
Interesting in that interview that Mark Loving just gave with Drew, he said he was frustrated that they didn't win today. They've obviously won the tie. They're in the playoff final, and he's still looking at the scoreboard, not happy with the result. That is testament to his mindset, the mindset within this Leicester Riders camp. Let's get reaction from their head honcho. Rob Paternostro is with Drew.
Rob, you're up 26 points in the first leg. Final 5 minutes, you go down 3. You can feel the nerves in this building. Put that final stretch in perspective for
Well, that's what the two-leg basketball is about, really. It messes with your head. You know, obviously came out of there with the big lead early, and we left, you know, without a big lead. They're up a little bit here, but all in all, we did what we had to do. I thought our defense down the stretch was excellent. We struggled on defense in the third quarter, but the fourth quarter late in the game on the defensive end and the rebounding is what won it for us.
And not only defense, but getting to the free throw line as well. 66 free throws attempted before this game. How has getting to the line spurred success for this team in the postseason?
Yeah, you got to get to the free throw line, obviously put pressure on the defense, but when you're the best foul shooting team in the league, it's important as well. Our guys are great free throw shooters. They work on it. We practice it all the time, and Mark came up with 2 big ones today. You know, we all have confidence, and when we run plays on side out of bounds, we have confidence in anybody getting the ball because we work so hard on it, and these guys are so clutch, and, you know, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the fans today, too. I thought the fans really gave us a lift in the fourth quarter as well.
Well, speaking of proud, a league that's tougher than ever. You wrap up the season winning 13 out of 15 games. How did you see that growth develop within this group?
Well, we try to do it every year, you know, get better and better. Obviously, Carrington's, you know, inclusion into the lineup was important. We had to get him up to speed. It improved our bench. But I thought that, yeah, as the last couple of months came, our guys were ready to turn it up.
And speaking of the fans, the loudest I've ever heard it in here, what would you like to say to them?
Yeah, thanks. I thought it was great support all year. This is a wonderful place to play. Leicester fans treat you so well. And, hey, we get another opportunity at the O2. I'm hoping for a big contingent of red down there on Sunday.
Well, a man of your experience knows that the job's not done, but you got to soak in these moments. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, there will definitely be a big contingent of Riders fans at the O2 next Sunday. Let's talk about these fans, because Drew was spot on. The energy in this arena was electric today.
It was definitely bouncing, and, you know, they've got a lot to think about. I just see that the women found a way to win as well, so the organisation will be representing WBL and BBL. So these fans have been here for years. It's a historic club. They always get behind their team. I'm sure it's going to be a major event next week.
Leicester into another playoff final. Bristol, of course, have never been there. We're so close. When you think about what they managed to achieve this evening, given they were 26 points down in the first leg at one stage, they almost pulled off one of the great comebacks of all time.
And that's it. You know, they have been relentless. You know, they've been, a lot of people doubted them all season, but they have found a way to stay consistent, stay within games, and they were so close to getting the job done. But they have to hold the head up high. They have had a great season.
The finest of margins, just 3 points on aggregate, and that explains why Malcolm Delpeche and the other Bristol Flyers team are studying the numbers so much, because it was so close. He was immense at both ends of the court. 21 points, 8 boards. He was very much the fulcrum tonight, wasn't he, for them?
He was an absolute monster. You know, like I said, getting these little tip backs. This is great basketball. It's keeping the play alive, He was making free throws until the last couple of minutes. He just, started to phase, but like I said, relentless.
He personifies the way this Bristol Flyers team plays ball. He has energy, he has fight, he is physical, and we've got to use that and look collectively at this difficult moment when they are ruminating on what might have been, and of course it's going to be bitter and a bitter defeat, particularly in this manner, for a while. But there's so much positivity to take from this season for the Bristol Flyers. It's been a great year for them. It's been a great year and so much more to look forward to. So hoping they can retain a couple of their core players, but at the same time, now they're going to be going to Europe next season as well. That is big. That's something to be proud of. The top 3 finish, great run in the playoffs. This club is on the up. Well, we've enjoyed watching them all season long. It's going to be a difficult reaction, I'm sure, we're about to hear now from Coach Andreas Kapoulas. Never easy to lose a game in this manner, this close on the verge of the playoff final. But he's taken time to talk to us now. He's with Drew.
Coach, commiserations, down 26, but you take the lead late in this one. What were you saying to the guys to give them the belief that you can at least put yourself in a position to win?
Just being tough, playing together, the things that we've been doing all year long, believing. I think that has been the key for us, basically.
And plenty of doubters coming into the season, including myself, but you guys fall just short. Just describe how proud you are of this group.
I'm incredibly proud. First of all, winning today. A win, it feels like a loss, on a 3-point margin for the playoffs. I'm incredibly proud. The city of Bristol is proud for our guys. The program has moved forward. We've taken another huge leap this year. We finished on 25 wins, 11 losses, same record with Leicester. Who would have thought that at the start of the season? The odds have always been against us, but we believed, and it has been incredible. These guys, the amount of hard work, the togetherness of the group, the leadership of our captain Mike Miller, the guys returning, Malcolm Del Pespo, I thought was huge today. That has really helped us through. I'm incredibly proud, and it hurts today, no question, but we battle our hearts out, and I'm extremely proud, and we will keep on moving forward. It's a process, we know, on and off the court, and we're on a journey, and I think that's another positive step in the right direction.
Well, speaking of that journey, arena on the horizon, Europe next season, there's a lot to be excited about with this Flyers organization.
Definitely. It has been like a process of 18 years, 9 years in the lower divisions, 9 years in the BBL, and we've got to keep on progressing. The excitement of playing in Europe next year, we want to win a BBL championship, we want to progress, we want to be one of the top teams, and it's not happening overnight. It's brick by brick, and it's a process, and we're going to get there.
Well, just finally, Coach, SGS has been packed out, sold out all season. I see the sea of pink over there. Just a quick message to your fans.
Well, thank you for the support throughout the whole year. We've been selling out game after game. We've sold out our regular season games since January. There is a real appetite for basketball in Bristol, and our fans are always there. We need a new venue, man. Excited, having the 4,000-seat venue, and having it packed out like we have had these last few years. It's got to be awesome. But deep appreciation from me and the team to our fans.
Coach, congratulations on a great season. We know that you will be back.
Thank you.
I guess it's tough. Even, mentioned they won tonight. It must be a strange situation when you've done the job in one respect, but it's not enough in another. Would you rather lose a game, a semi-final like this, closely, or in some ways is a blowout easier to handle and stomach?
You know what, the close ones, you start thinking about every single play, the missed free throws, the easy layup that you gave up. So I'm sure there's not an easy way to finish. All I can say right now is Bristol Flyers should be extremely proud of themselves. They have battled to the very end and just came up just so fine margins, but at the same time, so much to look forward to.
There really is. New arena, playing in Europe, and some brilliant players in that roster that they hope will be back for more. Mike Miller, we talked about his experience at the top of the show, didn't we, Kieran? And that came to the fore. He came to life in the second half in particular. He had 15 points, 7 boards, 4 assists, and just his fighting spirit came through time and again.
Yeah, I just love his little mid-range game. He can get to his spot, and you said that with his experience, he just found ways. Then he rebounds like a big sometimes. He was coming out of nowhere, coming out with the big rebounds. And it's just, again, agonisingly close. But what a great game.
Well, they've done themselves proud, their fans, and they are still plenty of them here chatting to the players taking time to talk to them as well, celebrating what has been a really, really strong season, even if ultimately it has fallen short by some kind of consolation anyway. They've landed Player of the Day, and it was a hell of a Player of the Day as well, and it was that Mandel Pesh right at the death in the third quarter.
And we thought this could have been a game-changing play, you know, big steal, come down the other end. Wow, that is absolutely, you know, I'm going to have to say it, disgusting.
Yeah, there you go. He'll be watching that one back again and again, and I guess a play so representative of the Bristol Flyers this season. He is very much their front man, their talisman. Brilliant stuff from him. Disappointing result in the end for the Flyers, but they have been excellent all season long. Right, it means that we know at least one of our two teams in the BBL final, because confirmation that over the two legs, despite defeat tonight, Leicester squeaking through 3 points on aggregate is the difference. It's an 8-point advantage that London carry in to their second leg against Cheshire tomorrow. As you might recall, we mentioned at the top of the show, unconventionally, the Lions, despite the fact they're the number one seed, they played the home game today, which means that the return leg tomorrow is in Cheshire. So 8 points, that's doable.
Very doable. And in Cheshire, with the guys like Larry Austin, very doable.
Who had a big game today, incidentally. So we know that Leicester are in the BBL playoff final. In terms of the WBBL playoff final, well, we know that that is also going to feature the Leicester Riders once again squaring off against the London Lions, who dispatched the Sevenoaks Suns comfortably today. It was closer in the Caledonia Riders game, but in the end, Leicester taking that down. So another matchup between those two great WBBL teams. Which means next Sunday, the double header. We know it's going to be London-Leicester in the WBBL playoff final. Will it be the same in the BBL playoff final? Either way, we are going to be there. All the build-up, all the excitement, all the action, live on Sky Sports Action from 12:45. It is the season finale, and we cannot wait for it. What a way to wrap things up this season. It'll be a packed house at the O2. It's always an absolutely remarkable atmosphere. And all we need to work out now is who is going to face the Leicester Riders in the men's BBL playoff final. Will it be London or Cheshire? Either way, we'll see you from the O2 next Sunday. Bye for now.
The locker rooms, and well, very much still in the balance here in Leicester.